Oh man. I can't wait to play this. Oh my gosh, that's so adorable! Oh my... What? What? What's going on? What? The... Oh... Oh... Oh my gosh, there are so many characters to play. Oh, there's Mario. Oh, Donkey Kong. Oh my, who is that? Who is that? Oh, he looks great. Oh, Yoshi, he looks, oh, Kirby looks he looks so badass. Pikachu, oh my gosh. Oh, these guys look great. Oh, he's playing a flute. Okay. Oh, what, Pikachu is so tiny, how? Oh, what, oh my god. Donkey Kong is beating him up. Oh my god, wait. Oh, he just beat Donkey Kong into the air. What the hell? That is. Oh, Kirby and Mario are gonna beat each other up. Oh, that's so cool. Oh, who are the?
That was my first reaction to Super Smash Bros., or as accurate as I can make it. I never saw anything like it. I mean, fighting games were pretty new to me. No Street Fighter, no Tekken. I played Darkstalkers in the late 2000s, but this was the first fighting game I've ever played. Well, I guess that's what we're calling it. The game resembled more like a beat-em-up, kind of like Turtles in Time or Final Fight. Actually, thinking about it, it's kind of similar to Kirby, which is also a series made by the Smash director Masahiro Sakurai. Super Smash Bros. Was certainly a unique idea. A party-fighting brawler combo starring all of Nintendo's biggest franchises, plus NES. It didn't start that way though, as most fans know. It started off as whatever the crying hell this is. So Sakurai thought it'd be cool to try out existing characters, and showed off Mario, Donkey Kong, Fox, and Samus, and Nintendo said, yes, this will sell. And it did, and it continues to be one of the best-selling games for Nintendo to this day. Before I start, I had to say this real quick. I'm not going to go too deep into the series. In fact, I'm not even going to talk about a couple of the entries for reasons I'll explain later. Also, if you're expecting me to talk about every stage or character in depth, I'm sorry, but I don't need this video going on for hours. I have other shit to do. But let's talk about the game that started it all, Super Smash Bros. For Nintendo 64, and we gotta talk about this. Kind of feels like tradition whenever you're talking about Smash Bros. This commercial. I don't think I ever grew up with it, but it brings me back to a time when advertisements were as fun to watch as the product they advertised. And this ad was insane, still fun to watch today. Just seeing Mario snap, trip Yoshi, and Donkey and Pikachu just joining the onslaught. All they have to do is follow it up with Fox and Samus with picnic baskets and dropping them to join in. But seriously, Nintendo characters beating each other up? This was a weird-ass idea that quickly attracted a lot of people. In 1999, everyone played it and loved it. Seeing all these characters in one game was a Nintendo fan's wet dream. Mario, Donkey Kong, Link, Pikachu, and the rest of these guys. Many casual fans may not know everyone. I certainly didn't know Link, Fox, Samus, or Captain Falcon when I first played. I also didn't know Ness, but that's because me and everyone else I knew didn't know he was in the game at all. I always thought he was just a random slot, so yeah. Though I did get a kick out of Fox and Samus at the very least, so much so that I wanted to get into these franchises. Some close family friends had a Nintendo 64 as well as Smash and Star Fox 64, and seeing the latter in action really made me want to play it more, but I never did until I got a Nintendo 64 on my own. And Metroid took a while as well, but I already talked about that a couple of months ago, so check those videos out if you want to. I also got into Mario, Pikachu, and Kirby since I grew up with these series, with Super Mario World, Pokemon Red and Yellow, and Kirby's Dream Course. Yeah, you didn't expect that one, did you? But let's talk about the game itself. You select the character you want, you choose the 8 or 9 stages to fight on, and start slugging everyone with the intent of launching them out of bounds. Each character has a percentage meter. The more damage you take, the longer your launch distance. There are 3 ways to rack up the damage or help you get back on the stage. You got your standard attacks with the A button, special moves for each fighter with the B button, and you can grab opponents with the right trigger, as well as guard with the Z button. You can also annoy people with the L trigger. End fights with this and you'll surely have no friends when you finish playing. They're all standard maneuvers, but each character has their own specific weight, speed, strength, and jump, making each fighter even more unique. I loved Fox and Pikachu because of their speed and long-range specials, and also Pikachu's Thunder. I also gravitated towards Kirby because of the copy abilities, and his down special was just devastating. And while I enjoyed seeing Samus and Mario, everyone else didn't really catch me. I didn't care for Link, DK was a heavyweight, which are characters I don't really like in fighters. And then there was the 4 unlockable characters. Luigi was just Mario with different animations and attributes. Jigglypuff was a bit dull and a little finicky. Captain Falcon had a lot of delayed attacks which annoyed me and was a bit too fast for me. And Ness? This video was the first time I played him on the Nintendo 64 because the unlock requirements are so frustrating. And it wasn't worth the pain. Bad recovery, uninteresting PK attacks, but his grabs were pretty good. That's about as much as I can say about the characters and mechanics. All I really need to talk about are the stages and modes. Well, that won't take long. Seriously, only 9 stages with the Mushroom Kingdom being unlockable. I'll just talk about a couple of the stages I love. Congo Jungle, a gorgeous stage, even to this day to a certain extent. It was also a pretty simple stage too, as well as the Happy Tree, I guess that's what it's called, I never played Yoshi's Story. But I'm just gonna call it Yoshi's Island 64. This is way too nostalgic for me, and this music is just good. The Great Fox is probably my favorite stage. It's fun just fighting on this giant ship.
And it's always fun seeing the R-Wings pass by and shoot the fighters on the deck.
Saffron City, yeah, it's pretty unbalanced in the design department. But the main stage is just so fun and chaotic that I just don't care. Trying to guess what Pokemon will appear in the door, hoping for an Electrode. Yeah. The rest were okay, honestly. No stage was objectively bad, but they aren't stages that I would pick with high energy. If you have them on, you can also find some items to take advantage of. You got Pokeballs to summon assistant Pokemon, Bob-Ombs, lightsabers, the devastating DK Hammer, and the classic Home Run Bat. In terms of modes, you got the multiplayer, which is kind of standard for a fighting game. And you got the one-player mode. Yes, just one single-player mode. Many people compare it to classic mode, but I find the set order to be similar to adventure mode. So I guess they split the two ideas in later games, so to keep everyone happy. Oh, who am I kidding? This is Smash we're talking about. No one is going to be happy. You always start with fighting Link, a tail of Yoshi's, a giant Donkey Kong, you break some targets, to land on some platforms, and end the mode with Master Hand.
A giant hand that's supposed to represent a child playing with his toys? I mean, that's kind of what the opening implies, so that's pretty much what I'm seeing, anyway.
And it all ended off with music that wouldn't be out of place in Resident Evil. Might as well just replace it with this. Super Smash Bros. Was a great start to the series, but holy shit, it's very difficult to go back to. The game is kinda clunky nowadays, with smash attacks having little build-up, no side special, Ness! As fun as the game is, I doubt I'll ever go back to this. Unless Nintendo releases this on the Switch with online play, I'll give it a shot for curiosity's sake. But that won't happen for a while, if ever, I'm gonna assume. So I guess we'll talk about Melee now. Super Smash Bros. Melee. Didn't play this game as much as the original. With the original, I knew about 5 people that had the console, 3 of them owning Smash, but I only knew 2 people who had a GameCube, with half of that amount having Melee. So this game isn't going to be a nostalgic run-through, but I will talk about my current opinions on the game and how I played it in the past few years. For the most part. So Melee was 2 years in production, since the last game came out in 1999, with Melee being on the GameCube in 2001 near its launch. What an accomplishment that this game is even this good. The game is much faster with some new things introduced, like a side special, and it introduces more items, more stages, and of course, more characters. In addition to the returning 12 characters, we get 14 new characters to try out, most of them representing the recurring franchises. Dr. Mario, Peach, and Bowser for the Mario series, Young Link, Ganondorf, Zelda, and Sheik for the Zelda series, Pichu and Mewtwo for the Pokemon series, and Falco for the Star Fox series. Martha and Roy arrived from the Fire Emblem series, which never hit the West at that time. And then we had the Ice Climbers and Mr. Game & Watch, which represented Nintendo's past with the NES game Ice Climber and the Game & Watch systems respectively. Most of these characters are great additions, however, 6 of them are characters based on other characters. Dr. Mario for Mario, Young Link for Link, Big Mistake for Pikachu, Falco for Fox, Roy for Marth, Ganondorf for Captain Falcon, which is kinda dumb. The King of Darkness hailing from Hyrule should not share the same moveset as an F-Zero racer. Though I will say, they did a great job making the clone characters feel a little more unique compared to the original characters. There are even some clones that I actually prefer over the originals. For example, I prefer Dr. Mario over Vanilla Mario and Roy over Marth. But then there's Vermin. Pichu is the only character that should have never been conceived. Worse than Pikachu in every way except for speed, and even then is not enough for this little pest to be considered viable. In fact, most of these characters I didn't gravitate towards. I enjoyed Falco since he felt like a floatier fox. Zelda and Peach were a fun surprise, and Game & Watch was just crazy fun, but other than that, I didn't get much out of the other fighters. Everyone was either too fast, too floaty, too heavy, or Pichu. The stages, however, absolutely great. The only stage I never tried was Pokefloats, and I doubt I'll ever have the motivation. But yeah, Brinstar, Temple, Pokemon Stadium, Yoshi's Story, Green Greens, Fountain of Dreams, Mute City, and Onett. Great stuff. However, you do have some stages like Rainbow Cruise, Jungle Japes, Venom, Yoshi's Island, and Icicle Mountain, which are stages that can die in a hole. If you don't like the chaos of the other stages, however, you can always go to Battlefield or Final Destination, which are not my favorite stages to be on. Well, Battlefield is okay, I just don't like the flat surface of Final Destination though. I also don't like the aesthetics of these stages, it's kind of boring to me. But no matter the stage, the game can be a lot of fun. Each character has their uses, go home. And each stage, while not every one of them is a winner, it can lead to some pretty crazy matches. But if you're not in the mood for multiplayer, there's so much more single player options for you. The one player mode, like I said earlier, is split into Classic and Adventure mode. Classic mode is structured the same, but the fights are completely randomized, and the board of the platform sections are replaced with these trophy grabber minigames. I'll get to trophies in a moment though. Adventure mode is more set in its pace, but unlike Classic mode, you get these pretty sweet platforming stages. I get a giant kick out of the Metroid escape sequence. However, the balance of these stages in standard battles isn't very stable. Hell, you play Fox twice in a row, or you fight Falco after the first Fox fight, but you still fight on the Great Fox 2 times in a row. I seriously would like more of these stages, since they were different from the standard fighting, and it was also some really great Nintendo fan service. At least the adventure is rather short, clocking in at around 20 minutes on average. Melee also introduces All-Star mode, which is a mode that unlocks after unlocking every character. And the mode is about beating every character in a row with limited health items. Unlocking characters are more varied than the original game. You can play several hundred versus matches for every character, or you can do certain tasks like being Classic or Adventure mode for certain characters, or play a total of 20 play hours for Mewtwo. Time to release this shitty third-party controller, leave the game for 10 hours, and then kill the second player at the end. Interesting to say the least. Though Game & Watch was a tad annoying, since you had to unlock and play every other character in either Classic, Adventure, or Target Test. And I just don't like playing as certain characters. Young Link and especially Pichu made me lose my damn mind. I hope to never see you again, you damn it! But yeah, outside of Classic, Adventure, and All-Star mode, there are plenty of other things to do. Target Test, of course, the lottery to get the before-mentioned trophies, neat little statues that branched out to Nintendo's entire history, even for games that were only exclusive to Japan, and some games that haven't released yet, like Pikmin and Animal Crossing. Oh, Pit, I am sorry you look like this. Home Run Contest is a great time for about 2 minutes, and immediately forgotten when you get certain trophies. There's also Training and Special Smash, which I didn't do much of, if anything, in Melee. I mostly played them in the more recent entries.
I'm not going to go into the competitive side of Melee, mostly because I'm not really good at that technical stuff. And really they're just glitches that people just take advantage of to make the game a little more interesting. I guess I have to commend them for actually making those glitches actually pretty useful though.
Now it's time for Super Smash Bros. Brawl, the game that made everyone go nuts since the game's E3 reveal in 2006. Showing off Link, Pikachu, Mario, and Kirby being updated to their new models. Well, everyone except Kirby, because he's already perfect! Showing up with the introduction of assist trophies and final smashes. It also shows off a few new characters in the form of Meta Knight from Kirby, Pit from Kid Icarus, Zero Suit Samus, and Wario ending off the spectacular with his kind of signature Wario Waft. Outside of Pit, who's from a franchise that's been lost in the sands of time, these are fantastic choices and not at all out of place. Okay, Snake was definitely the odd one out. Out of all the third-party characters to start with, they chose a war hero from an M-rated video game series that's only had one game on a Nintendo console at the time of Brawl's announcement. However, Sakurai and Kojima were pretty good friends, so it's not entirely random. But it didn't stop everyone from questioning and wondering who else was going to be. Yeah, pretty much. I mean, he was Mario's rival. Anyone who didn't think he was going to come in didn't understand their legacy. Before I continue, I should mention that even to this day, I have never played Brawl. My brother owns the game, but when I went to gather footage, I realized the game was missing. So I won't be talking about my opinions on the game itself, but I do want to talk about its impact and what I think it did well for the franchise. Well, there are 5 things I think of when Brawl is on the mind. The character roster, Subspace Emissary, Horrible Online, the game speed, and dripping. Shame I'll never experience those last 2, and even if I did play Brawl, the online has been shut down for nearly 5 years, so I wouldn't be able to see what that was all about. Though from what I've heard, I don't think I'm going to miss anything. Characters and modes, however, I can do. This time we have 37 characters, with 16 brand new characters. Okay, unlike Melee, Brawl didn't bring back every character from the previous game. Dr. Mario, Young Link, Roy, Pichu, and Mewtwo were all cut. And while the clones made some sense, to this day I have no idea why they removed Mewtwo. I felt he was a rather unique fighter. I mean, he wasn't really good, but still. However, I think the newcomers made up for it and then some. Starting off with Tomb Link as a newcomer for the Zelda series, which is just a better alternative to Young Link, since he represented a different iteration of the character. Meta Knight and King Dedede were newcomers for the Kirby series, obvious additions considering they've been around since the dawn of the series. Lucario and the Pokemon Trainer were new for the Pokemon series. No, the Pokemon Trainer doesn't actually fight himself, as funny as that would be. His gimmick was swapping between Squirtle, Ivysaur, and Charizard. Not a bad way to get more characters without making the roster's size unbalanced. Lucario was an interesting character, with his rage mechanic making him stronger the more damage he took. As cool as it is, I thought Mueller was just cooler in my opinion. Zero-Suit Samus was a new character that can be accessed by a button press on the character select screen, or using Samus's Final Smash. Wolf was the new Star Fox character revealed, Diddy Kong for the Donkey Kong series, Ike for Fire Emblem, and Lucas for Mother 3, a game we still don't have in the West, though really looking at it, I think there's a reason we haven't seen it yet. As for the new series reps, we got Wario from the Wario series, Olimar from the Pikmin series, Pit from the Kid Icarus series, and Rob, an NES accessory for the games Gyromite and Stack'em. But of course we can't talk about the roster without acknowledging the introduction of third-party characters, Snake from Metal Gear Solid and Sonic the Hedgehog. One of these characters fit as well as a cigarette in Candyland, and the other being a rival to the biggest video game character of all time. They were certainly different in most ways, but I have no complaints. I love both of these franchises, so seeing them in Smash Bros. Makes me happy. With all these characters, I gotta say, this is the most balanced roster in the series, period. I'll talk about my problems with the later entries, but every character is represented beautifully. Mario, Zelda, and Pokemon have the most reps, but not by many compared to the rest of the roster. And every character here has a reason to be here, either for being iconic, popular, fan favorites, or just neat surprises. That last point, more so for Pit. A character from a series that hasn't updated since 1991 with the Game Boy game Myths and Monsters. But not only did he get into the game, he got a brand new design, which made people wonder if Nintendo was interested in reviving the series. Which they actually were looking into ideas, with Uprising happening a few years later. With that said, this is a solid lineup. However, the balance was certainly a bit wacky. Seriously, no one talks about Brawl without talking about Meta Knight and how broken he was. I don't know a lot of the stages here, but I do remember Halberd, Hannonbo, and Newport City. One fantastic stage I played on the Wii U, and 2 stages I regret playing in Ultimate. It's like my soul ripped out of me. Anyway, we got the characters out of the way, let's talk about the adventure mode, the Subspace Emissary. What the hell is this? I have no idea what this story is. Like, fighters turn to trophies, Wario and Bowser want to turn them into trophies for some reason. Dedede seems to be the same, but he has this odd plan. Ganondorf is the head honcho of this operation, except it's Master Hand that's in control, except it's this cybernetic butterfly god thing named Taboo that's in control. I seriously can't comprehend this stuff, mostly because there isn't a lot of dialogue and the body language doesn't convey what's going on. But the fan service is high and fun to see these characters interact. Only other things to talk about, there's this coin launcher, which seems like a lot of fun to collect trophies with, and stickers! Let's move on. Since I wasn't active with Brawl's hype train, the next Super Smash Bros. Games were where my hype was located. And yes, I said games. Not only did the Wii U get some action, but the 3DS got a version as well. That's pretty cool. This was the first time we could actually play Smash Bros. On a handheld. Though I only tried out the demo and never bothered getting the game itself. Didn't have a job at the time and I was saving up for the Wii U game. Shame I didn't grab a copy much earlier. I could buy it now, but with Ultimate in our hands, there's no point, honestly. Quick addition here because the script was made before Christmas, and guess what I got for Christmas? Thanks, Sonic, you're the reason why this video took longer than expected. This won't take long though, as there isn't really much to say. There are some unique stages for the 3DS version compared to the Wii U game, and there's some good stages here and there. The only new modes in this version are Smash Run, a mode where you take out Nintendo enemies and boost your stats for a final battle with random rules. There is also other battles like a race to the finish type, but I didn't find a match like that before I got enough of the mode, honestly. There's also Street Smash. That was a waste of time. Well, that was fun. On to the dying corpse of a console. Anyway, the hype with Smash 4 was a good time. Starting it all with Villager coming in as a fighter, Wii Fit Trainer stealing the show later, and... nice. Since then, we've been feverishly looking out for new information, and we got the blog updates like the dojo. So that helped, though it made certain reveals a pain, like the day Robin and Lucina were announced, the blog showed a trophy of Rayman, and I foolishly thought that was going to be the new character from that day. I'm still praying. Here's the thing, I wish I was part of Brawl's hype train, because I would have been a lot more excited than this lineup. Not saying the new characters are bad, most of them are fine. But I didn't actively go crazy for any of them, outside of Pac-Man, Palutena, and Little Mac, and kinda Duck Hunt and Wii Fit. They were weird enough to a point where I enjoyed their inclusion. Rosalina and Luma made their debut, and the return of Dr. Mario, and I'm not exactly happy with how much Mario representation we got here. Like, yeah, Mario is their biggest franchise, but I never like seeing any franchise getting so much representation. Like, people get angry at the oversaturation of Fire Emblem, like, that franchise is starting to be as big as Zelda and Mario, so why can't I complain about this myself? Even with Zelda not getting any newcomers at all. We got Greninja, which I thought was... fine, not my favorite out of Gen 6. I kinda had a bias against Xenoblade when Shulk was announced, so I was a bit angry at the reveal. But I enjoy its inclusion nowadays. I still need to play this game at some point. I wasn't a big fan of Mega Man or Animal Crossing, so I didn't get much attention from Mega Man or Villager myself. The reveals were pretty underwhelming in my honest opinion, but that shouldn't take away from the quality of the actual game, right? Yeah, I guess. October 3rd hits with Smash 3DS, and I only got to try the demo like I said before. And the game felt great, though 3DS controls did not go well with Smash Bros. In my honest opinion. And this was at a time where I still had my old 3DS that had the broken shoulder buttons, so I couldn't use any grabs or shields. Only 5 characters to play too, most of them I sucked hard at, except Pikachu. While it was fun, it made me anticipate the Wii U game even more. And when I got the game, I played so much of it. Online mostly, but the game had a lot of other things to do. You can customize your Miis and even other fighters, which I did a lot of, despite realizing you can't really use these online, so it became rather pointless. But I used what I got and I had a lot of fun with it. You have to unlock the custom moves and Mii outfits just like the trophies, and you can get these by playing the Return in Classic mode, as well as some money and these crazy tickets you can use in the Crazy Orders. Master and Crazy Orders were a fun addition. In fact, I'd say these were the best part of the Wii U version. Well, Crazy Orders was. Master Orders was just doing the thing and boom, you win. Not very satisfying if you ask me. Crazy Orders was a lot better, where you play a string of battles with only a fraction of your health being healed up after every fight. Once you had enough, you can beat Crazy Hand and earn your rewards, though losing to him will make you lose a chunk of them. I wish these came back in Ultimate, since they had a lot of potential and could have been great if they added a bit more. Smash Door did, however. You play a board game to grab fighters and stat boosts, battle when you make contact with another player, and end it off with a battle with what characters you have. The ending was definitely the best part of this slog of a mode, and I'm glad that's the only thing that kept on later. Seriously, board games are not suitable for Smash Bros., and they never will be. But hey, Multiman is back, as well as Home Run and Break the Targets. Okay, this was a serious downgrade. It's just Home Run again, only with more luck and Angry Birds. I get that there wasn't any way to improve the concept, but Angry Birds? We're seriously going there. Okay, what else? Oh, Trophy Rush was fun. Break enough boxes to make trophy and custom move boxes appear. I like playing this mode until I realized I got every trophy you can get from this. Stage Builder was fun, making whatever stage you desire, and I think these were stages for one of my stories, but I'm having a hard time figuring out what they had to do with anything. Hey, drawing your stage is cool at least, but the other stuff to add to it was just generic stuff you'll find in a discount platformer. This level doesn't kill at 100% like it did in the Great Cave Adventure stage, so one of my stages was straight up unplayable because of that. And speaking of which, the new stages. Most of the new stages are actually pretty good, outside of Jungle Hijinks, Mushroom Kingdom U, Pyrosphere, Wrecking Crew, Pac-Man, Wily's Tower, and... Also, Pyrosphere and Wily's Castle had stage bosses that really were a pain in the ass. Well, most of the Yellow Devil, Ridley was tolerable at the very least. Though if you don't like the hazards, you can make Final Destination ports of these stages, which is a plus, though it kind of makes the stage a bit boring platform-wise. Can't really find what else to talk about. Oh yeah, there's an option for 8-player Smash, even if every stage isn't available for 8 players. Classic mode is dumb, no consistencies, just a lot of randomized fights, randomized stages, random metal or giant fighters that make things more annoying. Though I do like at certain difficulties after being Master and Crazy Hand, you can fight the added Master fights like the Giant, Beast, Blades, Clone, and the Core. There is the Master Fortress, but I am not good enough at Classic mode to get that far in. This is another thing I wish they kept, but I guess this was just a one-time thing. I guess all there is unlike— holy shit, there are people on this thing! Maybe I should have checked the original Splatoon if there was any players playing. But yeah, not much to say. It's actually not too bad on one-on-ones in For Glory. And for fun matches aren't too bad either, though they can chug after a while. I thought I wouldn't have a lot to say about this one. The only thing to talk about before I move on would be the DLC characters. We got returning fighters like Mewtwo, Roy, and Lucas, but also got Corrin as another Fire Emblem rep, and 3 new third-party characters like Ryu from Street Fighter, Cloud from Final Fantasy VII, a game famous for not being on a Nintendo console, and Bayonetta. Holy shit, this was crazier than Snake, man. The DLC was a lot more fun than the base roster, if you ask me. And Ultimate seems to be the same way with Joker coming in. Oh man, I can't wait. Smash 4 was a lot of fun when it came out, with the variety of modes and tons of characters to play with, even if I don't like a chunk of the choices. Though with Ultimate out, there really isn't any reason to go back to it, since it's basically the same game functionally. I guess that's a good segue into the latest game of the series, Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. And yeah, that's basically that, the Ultimate Smash Bros. Game. Every character from the previous games returns, 99 returning stages with 4 brand new ones, and Battlefield and Final Destination forms of each stage. You can also turn off hazards, making some stages a lot more fun, though the Great Cave Offensive is still a pain in the ass. And there's a brand new story mode, something that Smash 4 really lacked. Speaking of lacking, there are a few things Ultimate removes, many being staples since Melee. Trophies, home run contests, break the targets, even some modes from the last game I thought would have been great additions like Smash Run, Master and Crazy Orders. It's sad to see these omitted, but hey, stickers return. Kind of. Yeah, let's talk about the adventure mode real quick, the World of Light. It starts off with a pretty fantastic opening cutscene, seeing all these characters watch an army of Master Hands and their leader Galeem vaporize everyone except Kirby because of course he would escape. He is Sakurai's son after all, and the world is transformed into Galeem's own. With that, Kirby must save the other fighters, take down these puppet fighters to save the spirits possessing them, and beat Galeem at the end. Basic of course, but I'll be honest, it's a bit too basic. You can't really play this in long sessions, it's best in chunks, because this mode gets repetitive fast, and from what I heard it'll take over 30 hours to complete. Yeah, I didn't bother with this video. Credit where credit is due, the spirit mechanic is a lot better than I thought it'd be. You choose a primary spirit and equip that spirit with supporting spirits if that spirit allows for it. Each spirit has special perks, like preventing damage from stage hazards, adding or preventing stats changes, or equipping the fighter with an item, like the home run bat or lipstick, which is probably the best item for this mode. You can feed these spirits with snacks to increase your strength. Some spirits can create shops or investigation sites to help you with your journey. There's more than I expected and I'm glad about that, but again, this mode can get very samey very quickly, and the long length doesn't help either. I heard the ending is worth the grind, but I won't be talking about it since I've yet to experience it myself. That said, this is the biggest mode this game has to offer. There's not a lot of new fighters. You got Inkling from Splatoon, Ridley from Metroid, Simon and Richter from Castlevania, King K. Rool from Donkey Kong Country, Isabelle from Animal Crossing, and Incineroar from Pokemon Gen 7. There are other new characters in the form of Echo Fighters. Darkbit and Lucina were beta for this idea, I suppose, from the last game. And this game introduces Daisy, Chrom, Dark Samus, and Ken. I like the idea of giving a name to what we thought of as clones for so long. It makes them more valuable than before, and they don't take a lot of development to make. Though like Smash 4, I'm very half and half on this roster of newcomers. Inkling, Ridley, Dark Samus, and K. Rool, these were characters I've wanted for so damn long, and seeing them here makes me cry with tears of joy. And I can't care for the rest. I'm not a Castlevania guy, so Simon and Richter didn't get me all too thrilled. Same with Isabelle and Ken. Incineroar, while a fun character in concept, was not a choice I was exactly excited about. Him as well as Daisy. I've said already I didn't want certain franchises to overshadow others, and this is getting to be a bit much. Mario and Fire Emblem have 1 rep more than Zelda, and Pokemon have 1 more than that, 3 if you count Squirtle, Ivysaur, and Charizard as separate characters. And even comparing them to their other AAA franchises like Metroid, Kirby, Star Fox, and Animal Crossing, like yeah, those franchises don't have a lot of high amount of characters as Mario or Pokemon, but it's still hard to swallow for me. I think a crossover is special when every franchise represented is on par with everyone else. Even if some have more than others, I think they can still have enough to not overshadow the rest. The Mario cast feels like filler to me. I'm baffled that Fire Emblem has this many characters already. We have 3 Links in the game and Pichu! Pichu! I'm good. It is interesting to see a character roster this large though, and the fact that everyone seems to be on a similar degree of quality is baffling. It has to be difficult to balance a roster this big, but they did their best and I think they did a terrific job at doing so. It's also nice to see the Ice Climbers, Snake, Wolf, and yeah, sure, these guys come back after being gone for so long. And there is something special about this, though Final Fantasy still only has 2 tracks, and the only spirits we have are for Cloud in this game specifically, not the Final Fantasy art, this game specifically. What the hell's wrong with you, Square Enix? Where's One Winged Angel and my Tifa, Yuffie, and Barret spirits? I seriously dread to see Sora, Agnes, and Gino in this game and see the franchises get similar treatment. The fan bases will burst into flames if that's the case. Anyway, my most likely very unpopular opinion out of the way, let's get the other stuff, as there's not much compared to the previous entries. Only 4 new stages, and I'm going to be even more unpopular with this. I don't like them. Mori Towers is fine, but not exactly interesting. Dracula's Castle would have been fine, but the stairs at the end kind of ruined it for me. The Great Tower and New Donk City, however, are just straight up boring. I don't like them at all. The Great Tower is just Final Destination with a crumbling roof, and New Donk is just a vertical auto-scroller in front of a generic white tower. I know it's the main building in New Donk City, but that doesn't change my opinion at all. It's still kind of boring to look at. However, the returning stages are just amazing. In the last game, returning stages looked rather outdated. Like they just took the stages from the previous games and that's it. They redid everything for this game and they look a ton better. Doesn't make every stage fun. Why the hell did they have to bring this back? Oh boy, Hannonbow! I never want to see this ever again! Do I need to say any more about Great Cave? I'm not gonna lie about the modes. I was a tad disappointed at the variety. Most of the modes involve general fighting. Hey, Squad Strike and Smashdown are really cool additions. Squad Strike involves you fighting 1v1 with 3 or 5 characters for each stock. And Smashdown is an Iron Man mode, picking a character which makes the character unusable afterward. Dirty mode is back, classic mode returns, and better than ever, each character has a set path with a specific theme. Jigglypuff's theme is the original classic mode, Luigi faces his fears, Peach shows she's a total frickin' badass, Kirby is basically gourmet race and smash fights, and my absolute favorite, Wii Fit Trainer getting fat characters into shape. Reminds me of her reveal trailer in Smash 4 actually. Each of them has 6 fights, a race to the finish, which you'd have to do jack shit to lose in, and fight a specific boss afterward, like Ganon, Giga Bowser, Rathalos from Monster Hunter, Marks from Kirby, Dracula, this thing from Brawl, or most likely Master Hand and Crazy Hand. Not a bad lineup, but certainly lacking the potential cool battles. It would have been cool to have Eggman as a boss for Sonic and Mega Man, the Plasma Wraith for Olimar, maybe the Black Knight for the Fire Emblem cast, have another assist trophy be a boss, seriously. Possibilities are endless, and it's just a bit lacking, especially since most of the classic modes end with the hands. We fought them so many times, let's have other fights for once. Multiman returns, this time by the name of Century Smash. All-Star lets you fight characters in a similar fashion this time, but you can play it right from the start, whereas every other game you had to unlock everyone. Cruel Smash also returns, but I feel like this has been nerfed a bit, but that doesn't mean anything. Shulk, I regret everything I said in the past, now kill these bastards. Training is here, but it's nothing special unless you want to do certain glitches that have been hitting the internet lately. This one actually makes me want to play Animal Crossing. Yes, my henchman, go and make the secretary suffer. Oh, that's starting to kill the frame rates. Hey Namco, make this a mode in Championship 3, you'll thank me. That's about it in terms of modes, however none of them are available online. I mean, spirits are available if you want to allow them, but it's all just standard fights. You can customize your preferred rules when doing random fights, or you can make or join a lobby. That's pretty much it, though with randoms you're not guaranteed to fight people with similar preferences. Thankfully I'm not picky, but I was disappointed when I found out Squad Strike, Smashdown, or even tournaments weren't available on the online lobbies at least. And like I said earlier, the orders didn't return. I would have liked Smash Run to come back in some form, or hell, bring the lottery or coin launcher back, just for variety while collecting spirits. I'm hoping to see these modes in free updates. I'd even pay top dollar for unique break the targets again. Hey, I'd be totally down with DLC modes. Not every piece of DLC needs to be characters. I know I was a bit negative on Smash Ultimate, but don't misunderstand me. This is a fantastic game. In terms of fighting and control, it's easily the best. The speed is great, there's a new parry with the shield that I am terrible at using, the air dodge is back from melee, and again, everyone feels balanced enough with their own strengths and weaknesses. Really, Smash Bros., no matter the iteration, is a great time. And while I haven't experienced every game in the series, I still love every one of them. Each have their faults, but I don't care. It's Smash Bros. If you have a Switch, please get Smash Ultimate. You won't regret it. There's something for everyone here. Over 70 characters, a good chunk of modes for online play, hell, over 100 stages with a variety of ways to customize them. Adding items to the mix or no items final destination, there really is something to hold your attention. And hey, if you don't have a Switch or are curious about the series, the 64 game is available on the Wii U Virtual Console. Melee is a bit pricey, but worth the price. And I don't see Brawl 3DS or Wii U going for a very high price, so check them out if you're very interested.
Man, this video was a long one. Not that I didn't expect it. I'm playing like 6 games for one video. I only have 3 of these games. 3DS is over there. Melee is in the GameCube right now. And I have Ultimate digitally, but it's great to really look at all of these games. It's a really great series. With that said, you guys have a wonderful 2019. And I'll play with you guys next year.